Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Ha Rakakwadash Ma'amath. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone and the elders. Double honors to my elder as well, Ahar-Wan Ben Yasha'Allah of the Lions Den Camp. And salutations to the fellow Akim, Outwifing and children that believe in truth and in sincerity. It's your brother Athan Allah back to another lesson. And Yahara Ratazah is edifying.
Woman of God. Kobe Bryant, woman of God, was also a part of the Clinton Global Initiative's Haiti Fund. He was scheduled to go into witness protection, according to my contacts within the federal government. So Kobe Bryant was going to expose that because they did not pay him his full honorarium that they promised that they would pay him.
Next clip is it's even worse. This is a preacher. I want to get your opinion on this. This is a preacher we covered this week who was talking.
So now, as you've seen the clip that I played prior, all right, to me speaking, I just wanted to go into a couple of scriptures, just meditating on that topic, all right, as really through the spirit, this lesson came about after listening to Apostle Gabar's lesson, all right, as he did a lesson this morning in regarding individual, a woman by the name of Linda Thompson, who was the creator of America Under Siege. I believe it was a movie, a documentary, or a book. But lo and behold, all right, she ultimately goes into the history of the government, all right, the U.S. government, and how they put forth crimes, all right, and treason, so to speak, against the people. But, nothing new that we don't know. But just lining that up, Apostle Gabar also mentioned a movie called The Clinton Chronicles, just basically just going into more of their wickedness and how the documentary goes into how over 20 something people that were tied to them had mysteriously died, and we know of this when it comes to, this is just one Edomite couple out of many, all right, as these people are diabolical demons. All right, as you had Bill and Melinda Gates, as they were going into other countries and conducting business, being the globalists that they are. All right, real big players in the game with a lot of money, and they use their money to overthrow governments, to infiltrate other countries and governments, and to force their will and their demonocracy upon these nations. All right, but just as Bill and Melinda Gates was to go into these other countries, all right, they've been accused of crimes in these countries as well. One of the scriptures I want to start off with is the book of Matthew chapter 10 and verse 26. Fear them not therefore, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, and hid that shall not be known. Man, right? So it's nothing that is going to be hidden in darkness that's not going to come to light. There's nothing that's going to be done in secret that's not going to be brought forth to the forefront. The Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, sees all things, and his eyes is 10,000 times brighter than the sun. So, not to, focus on the conspiracy of it, all right? But when, a spade is a spade, all right? Too many people can't think upon the same things without it being some form of truth in it. It's just how the cookie crumbles. But to go into an article, we go get into an article as well, and he was going to expose the Clintons or whatever the case may be. All right, you don't hide and conceal things that can be profitable for the people. More importantly, your people. All right, that's But the main point is that you can't rub shoulders with these devils. It's a lose-lose. Now, this is an article I wanted to bring out that I had stumbled across that lined up with that video that I had saw a couple months back. Now, I had tried to do research. I typed in Kobe Bryant, Clintons, and things popped up. And this was one of them. And this was an article. It says a conspiracy theorist pushed an evidence-free claim right? Speaking of that pastor guy, Larry Gators, that bishop that was on the panel with that Edomite woman that you saw, who looked real Hillary Clinton like, real witch like. But it states a conspiracy theorist pushed an evidence-free claim that late NBA legend Kobe Bryant surfaced on Twitter, and people were absolutely horrified by his connection from reality and the insensitivity to Bryant's family, right? Because the majority of the people run with the narrative, what they go into the media. We are aware of 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 11, that Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And one of his main devices is the media, the media, the news, the television, where he can tell his vision. All right. And now even more so than that is the internet. All right. As social media has been set up and is being used as a weapon as well. But it says Bishop Larry Gators, who has appeared on Canaan Aligned podcast, spoke to Mary cruelly about his thoughts on the connection between the Clintons and Bryant. All right, so this is they speaking about the little video snippet that I played prior. He was scheduled to go into witness protection, like the guy said. All right, according to his contacts with the federal government, because he was about ready to expose the Clintons. All right, end quote. And this is quote, Kobe Bryant was invited by the Aspen Institute out of Colorado, December of 2013, to take part in the January 2014 Clinton Global Initiative, he added. All right, and after doing research, I did see, all right, he had an Aspen Summit. He has an Aspen Institute. He had like some form of summit with Bill Clinton, with the guy. All right, and that happened in 2014. There's videos of it, and ESPN highlighted it, where they went into a school or college and they was speaking about how important it is for youth to be active, stuff like that. But it says, Bishop Gators said that Kobe Bryant spoke in New York City in January 2014 and was a part of the Clinton Global Initiative's Hades Fund. He also alleged that millions of dollars needed for the Haitians, all right, the tribe of Levi that we know they are and described as that's what the Lord called them. All right, Haitian, all right, is ultimately a byword that they've been called. All right, I want to say it means savage. But it says he also alleged that millions of dollars needed for the tribe of Levi and that land over there, land of Haiti, to recover from the earthquake was stolen by the Clintons, whom he called the Bonnie and Clyde couple. And it's not just Kobe Bryant. If he did label them that, he wouldn't have been the first one that labeled them or gave them a bad moniker or a bad stamp upon their name. All right, one of the scriptures I wanted to get is the book of Sirach, chapter 12. All right, because hey, even though you make money and you might have some type of substance when it comes to this society, and you're high up on the totem pole when it comes to your financial state. You got to watch out who you're in partnership with. All right, and you got to ultimately know who the enemy is. That's why the scriptures say, train up a child the way he shall go. Yeah, you want to teach, you teach, yeah, you're teaching your children how to be excel in worldly matters, like how to be the best athlete or how to be the best at being a rapper or some shit like that, but you're not teaching them the ordinances of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, so they can be able to have some type of spiritual discernment of who to deal with, who not to deal with, who to commune and congregate with, conduct business with, and who not to do it with. And if you do it, whether you do it with someone good or bad, heathen or not, you know how to go about it, through the spirit, being in this flesh. All right, so you have no spiritual covering if you don't know Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, which leaves you out here in the valley of the shadow of death, all right, where you can die at any moment, man, at any time, without a covering, without knowing Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, without knowing the enemy, and certain things could have been avoided. But this is the book of Sirach, Ecclesiasticus chapter 12. All right, but everything is ordained through the will of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. And I'll start at verse 8. I'll start verse 7 because we had an incident like this at this past camp when we had a beggar came, and that beggar was once a scoffer. All right. And it's Sirach 12:7. Give unto the good and help not the sinner. Right. So you want to give unto the good. Don't help the sinner, because you can be helping them or aiding them, funding them to go and do something wicked. This verse 8. A friend cannot be known in prosperity. Right. And that's why what you can't Kobe Bryant, if he was in partnership with the Clintons, he didn't know who the hell he was really in partnership with, man. Damn devils. Devils, going back into the Latin diablos, meaning deceivers, all right, which they are. Verse 8, a friend cannot be known in prosperity, right? A friend can't be known in prosperity. And an enemy cannot be hidden in adversity, right? Because once you come in adversity, if he's an enemy, he's going to come against you eventually. He's going to gainsay. He's not going to bear that adversity or go through that affliction with you. Verse 9, in the prosperity of a man, enemies will be grieved, but in his adversity, even a friend will depart. Never trust thine enemy, for like as an iron rusteth, so if his wickedness, right, it's going to eventually show. They're going to eventually stab you in the back. So if you didn't like what they did with you as far as being in partnership with them, you might as well just take it on the chin and keep your mouth closed, all right, because you shouldn't have been in business and in partnership with them to begin with. So like the scriptures say in verse 10, never trust thine enemy. That's why it's important to raise up a child the way he shall go, even though you teach them how to be prosperous in this type of society and try to make a dollar and to be all they can be. All right, you want them to be all they can be in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. You want them to know the Lord first. So anything they do, they prosper in it. If they do prosper in it, they prospering off the Lord's will. You know, the Lord is seeing him through it. You know, he has a covering, so to speak, because he know of the Lord. All right. He's been taught of the Lord to trust in the Lord. You can't trust in something you haven't been taught. Well, you can, you can't, you know, not completely. You know, I mean, that's ultimately what faith is, something that you haven't seen, but you have to be taught it. You have to know of it to believe in it, you know? So, hey, you can be the best of the best. You can know what Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or Michael Jordan did to be the best of the best. But just as Kobe Bryant idolized Michael Jordan and idolized his game to be as so, he was supposed to idolize his mannerisms, his thought process as a man under the ordinance of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai in that same fashion, right? That greatness like manner, that greatness like work ethic. You know, it was used for naught. You know, that's why we say here it's a lose-lose, man, in this captivity. All right. You know, but hey, never trust thine enemy, for as iron rusteth, so if his wickedness, man, he is eventually going to rust. You know, you got a vehicle and you in those snowy climates like in the Midwest or up north, that car go rust. You know, that's why you want to kind of get a vehicle down in the South if it's an old school. The frame ain't go rust. But verse 11, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. Right? You know it was. You know that Rust-Oleum wasn't able to patch it all up. You know it was a front. You know his horns eventually is gonna show. You know, verse 12, set him not by thee, right, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place, neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words and be pricked wherewith. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent or any such as come nigh wild beasts? So one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled with him in his sins, who would pity? Right, like who would pity, man? You know, you have to know, you should know that this is the devil that the Bible speak of, man. This is a physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan. All right, he doesn't have your best interests at hand. So as much money as you make in this society, go in partnership with the mom and pop of your people. You know, you shouldn't be in partnership with these people because these people don't have your best interests at hand. And when you get some type of dirt on them, hey, you're exposable. So we got that. This is Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? You know? The earth was given into the hand of the wicked, man. The Lord gave this devil to, he has dominion over the flesh to an extent because he's carnal, and his blessing is the sword. All right, but the scriptures say, fear not him that can kill the body. All right, but fear him that can kill the body and soul. All right, and that's the Heavenly Father. And it's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1 and verse 14. I have seen all the works that are done under the sun, and behold, all is vanity and vexation of spirit, right? Because you look at an individual like that who worked it hard at his craft, he wasn't in no substances, he didn't smoke, drink, he ate right, he spoke upon these things, and that's the way he carried himself. But at the same time, he had a bald head. He did grow a beard, but he had a bald head, He put a lot of effort into the worldly matters, but didn't know Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, which led him to not understand and know that he has an enemy biblically. All thus saith the Lord, and he in partnership with that enemy, and he found out that enemy is really what the so-called conspiracy theorists may be talking about, allegedly. That's how things happen. And then what? Hey, you get knocked off your square. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 2 and verse 11. All far-fetched, but just through the spirit, just looking at things through the spiritual lenses. Ecclesiastes 2 and 11. Then I looked on all the works that my hands had wrought, and on the labor that I had labored to do, and behold, all was vanity and vexation of spirit, and there was no profit under the sun, man. Right. And now Kobe Bryant, he's in the heavens, he's in the Shemayims, knowing who he is, knowing who we are as a people. All right, and he's understanding that his works, all right, that he had wrought and labored under the sun was vexation and all vanity. All right, and was no profit here, man. This is hell. This is where we've been put, all right, in the chains of darkness to live out a prison sentence, man, spiritually, all right, for disobeying the law, statute, commandments that the Lord had gave us, so to lead and be the peculiar people amongst the earth. All right, I'm gonna jump down to verse 17. Therefore I hated life, because the work that is wrought under the sun is grievous unto me, for all is vanity and vexation of spirit, man. Now did Kobe hate life? Nah, he was in prosperity. I'm sure he was. He had some form of it. He had what seems to be a loving family. He had money and substance here. He had finished a career. What more do we want? It was complete. His chapter had ended. This is verse 18. Yeah, I hated all my labor which I had taken under the sun, because I should leave it unto the man that shall be after me. And who knoweth whether he shall be a wise man or a fool? Right? What the hell he go do with it? Yet shall he have rule over all my labor when I have labored, and wherein I have shewed myself wise under the sun. This is also vanity. So you want to be wise in the Lord, and this ultimately is Solomon speaking, a great king, and he saw that this life of the flesh and it was all for vanity. It was all for naught. This is temporal. All right. So ultimately justice, if it's truth behind that or not, justice will be served spiritually. The Lord see everything. All right. And he's going to require it. This is the book of Psalms 11 and 6. Upon the wicked he shall rain snares, fire and brimstone, and an horrible tempest. Read up to verse 5. It's Psalms 11 and 5. The Lord trieth the righteous, but the wicked and him that loveth violence, his soul hateth. Right, so the Lord hates. And definitely he hate the wicked, you know, who loveth violence, who love to take people out, who love to treat this so-called life like a game of fucking chess, you know? And think and play as God, like they can decide who continues on and who doesn't. All right, you have individuals and people like that here on this earth, man, believe it or not. All right, starting with Esau, Edom, as well as the other heathen nations and even 2/3 of our people, man. You know, verse 6, upon the wicked he shall rain snares, right? And traps go be right back on them. Fire and brimstone and an horrible tempest, this shall be the portion of their cup. For the righteous Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, loveth righteousness. His countenance doth behold the upright, right? You know, he's pleased with the righteous, man, the upright, the just. All right. But those same traps that the wicked try to put forth against the just, all right, against his people, against the apple of his eye, he's going to put them same traps amongst them. All right. And actually, he already has. All right. And they're caught. And ultimately, the judgment is going to rain upon them for their iniquity. You know, the Lord is just building it up. So it's righteous indignation when he brings that indignation. This is Psalm 64 and 5. They encourage themselves in an evil manner. They commune of laying snares privily, right? They commune. They have meetings and shit of who they might take out, you know, so to speak, allegedly. You know, when it comes to their secret societies and stuff like that, these things are coming out because just like you got whistleblowers like Linda Thompson, who made the American Under Siege video, who possibly could be an Edomite, maybe she's not. You know, the Lord and the angels go do the reaping, Salakia. All right, but just as you have whistleblowers, because I believe she worked for NATO, all right, to be specific. All right. So just to have whistleblowers in the elitists, all right, you got, you know, you got whistleblowers in these secret societies, all right, who once used to commune and be in these type of meetings and know what's going on to where, you know, they can go and speak out about it, you know, whether it's up to you to have spiritual lenses to line things up spiritually to believe things are not. They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. You know, it's deep, you know, because what they've been given, the blessing is the sword, you know, not only just the sword in the physical sense to put forth that judgment, but just the craftiness of being a damn devil, you know, the craftiness of the arts and crafts, the art of war, you know, how to divide and conquer, you know, things like that. Verse 7, but Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded, right? You know, it's going to come right back upon them. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 22 and verse 5. Thorns and snares are in the way of the froward. He that doth keep his soul shall be far from them, right? You want to keep your soul ultimately and not sell it so you can be far from the snares, you know, the traps. It's the book of St. John, chapter 10 and verse 10. The thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life and that they might have it more abundantly, man. Right. And in this scripture, the reason why I'm bringing this out is because the thief cometh not but to kill, steal, and to destroy, man. That's why it's important to know who the thief is, who the true enemy is. All right. You know, and that's why it's also important to know of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, man, because in him is life. That's the true, in him is where true life resides, where rest resides, you know, and where you're going to have more of an abundant substance, an everlasting substance that's not go rust, old, all right, and moth and you know, they don't corrupt it, all right. Thieves can't come through and break through and steal it. All right, it's spiritually stored up in the Lord's bank. And, you know, so this devil just coming to steal, kill, and destroy. You know, this ain't our rest, man. You know, Micah, 2 and 10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. Right, this place is polluted, man. You know, again, Job 9:24, the wicked, the earth was given into the hand of the wicked. It shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction, man. Right, you know, with a sore destruction. I wanted to look up that etymology of destruction in Micah 2:10, just out of the blue letter right quick. H2256, a cord, a rope, territory, band, company, a line, your lifeline, basically. You know, measuring cord, a line, measured portion, lot, you know, your part, you know, so this is the lot, you know. You don't want your lot to be a condemnation of destruction, you know, by dealing with this polluted place. Because that ultimately, that's how Kobe met his demise. He was destroyed for he was caught up in the snares of these trap layers, the cunning hunter, man. You know. I'm gonna end off with the book of Daniel, chapter 1. I'll start at verse 5. It's a quick read. In the same hour came forth fingers of a man. Salakio, I want Daniel 1:5. And the king appointed them a daily provision of the king's meat and of the wine which he drank, so nourishing them 3 years, that at the end thereof they might stand before the king. So there was propositions to eat the king's meat, and this is the prophet Daniel and the three little children, Sham, what the world know to be Sham, Meshach, and Abednego, who Hebrew names were Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, and we will get into it. This is Daniel 1:5. And the king appointed them a daily provisions of the king's meat and of the wine which he drank, so nourishing them 3 years, at the end thereof they might stand before the king. You know, it's like a proposition, you know, that, you know, you deal with me, after 3 years you can sit with me, so to speak. You know, that's kind of how these people do today in the world. They try to reach for gain and titles in the society, whether it's their jobs or whatever it is, thinking that they can sit at the table. All right, but here in this society, they have created something called a boule, where you would never sit at the table. You would just get to a point where you help guard and protect the table. Basically a coon, a sambo. Verse 6, now among these were of the children of Judah, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, unto whom the prince of the eunuchs gave names. For he gave unto Daniel the name of Belshazzar, and to Hananiah of Shadrach, and to Mishael of Meshach, and to Azariah of Abednego. So there you go right there, that point, the breakdown on that. But Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with the portion of the king's meat, right? Nor with the wine which he drank. Therefore he requested of the prince of the eunuchs that he might not defile himself, right? He requested it. Just like you can do today, there's laws in place where you can request Saturdays off. I'm a high priest. We go out and teach on Saturdays. Wherever day your camp or wherever day you might go out and teach, you can request that day off due to your constitutional right, the right to religion, you know, which falls, I want to say falls in the line of the right of speech, free speech, right? The right to have a militia, the right, you know, the right of religion. So it is Daniel right here keeping his integrity, right? Not wanting to eat of the king's meat or drink of his wine, because at the end of the 3 years, he want to stand as that same man that he is then. It's verse 8, but Daniel, all right, aka Belshazzar, right, purpose in his heart that he would not defile himself with the portion of the king's meat, nor with the wine which he drank. Therefore he requested of the prince of the eunuchs that he might not defile himself. Now Yahweh had brought Daniel into favor and tender love with the prince of the eunuchs. And the prince of the eunuchs said unto Daniel, right, because even when you do that here in this society, in the real world, they look at you different. They know you're not the typical Negro, you know? They, oh, this motherfucker knows something. You know, he talking law, he talking employee rights, right? You know, they gotta deal with you delicately versus everybody else. And this why he found favor in Belshazzar. Not only the Lord put the spirit in, you know, the eunuchs, right, to have favor towards Daniel, all right, but it's just, you know, the scriptures say, man, you'll make the enemy be at peace with thee, you know, roughly paraphrase, all right. Right, so verse 9, it says, Daniel, you're right, see, Yahweh put in a eunuch spirit, because it says, now Yahweh had brought Daniel into favor and tender love with the prince of the eunuchs, right? And the prince of the eunuchs said unto Daniel, I fear my lord the king, who have appointed your meat and your drink, for why should he see your faces worse liking than the children which are of your sort? Salakia. Then shall ye make me endanger my head to the king. Then said Daniel to Melzar, I guess that was his name, whom the prince of the eunuchs had set over Daniel, Khan, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, prove thy servants, I beseech thee, 10 days, and let them give us pulse to eat and water to drink. Let's see what pulse is. Probably victuals like herbs, vegetables, right? Herbs. So like vegetables, that's sown. You know, he didn't want meat. He wanted pulse to eat and water to drink. Then let our continence be looked upon before thee, and the continence of the children that eat of the portion of the king's meat, and as thou seest, deal with my servants. So he consented to them in this matter and proved them 10 days. Right, so it was like they casted a lot, like, you know, prove me 10 days. Look at my continents and check their continents. Verse 15, and at that end of the 10 days, their continents appeared fairer and fatter in flesh than all the children which did eat the portion of the king's meat, right? You know, it was fairer, it looked more healthier, you know, and fatter in the flesh. You know, it looked more healthier and well-equipped than those who were eating the king's meat, being destroyed. Verse 16, thus Melzar took away the portion of their meat and the wine that they should drink and gave them pulse. As for these for children, Yahweh gave them knowledge and skill in all learning and wisdom, and Daniel had understanding in all visions and dreams. Now at the end of the days that the king had said he should bring them in, then the prince of the eunuchs brought them in before Nebuchadnezzar. You know, and that's pretty much the point. Salakia, I keep reading. Verse 19, and the king communed with them, and among them, right, this game day. And the king communed with them, and among them all was found none like Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, Khan. Therefore stood they before the king, and in all matters of wisdom and understanding that the king inquired of them, he found them 10 times better than all the magicians and astrologers that were in all his realm. And Daniel continued, you know, so hey, they were, by keeping their integrity and standing 10 toes down, it was shown that they were the true elite. They were the one who were wise, not the magicians, not the astrologers, right? You know, so it's all about knowing the will of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and knowing of the Lord, and knowing of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and learning of him. You know, we want to increase in this knowledge, because once we increase in this knowledge as an individual, as a nation, it's over with, you know. We're not going to want, you know, for nothing. And we go be back in our righteous steed, all right? But just looking at the Kobe Bryant thing for what it is. And I was just inspired on the Apostle Gabar lesson on that Linda Thompson. All right. And just how, you know, the elitists in here in this so-called great city is polluted. All right. You know, this place is polluted. All right. Because of what? The leaders and the powers that be. All right. As Job 9:24 states, the earth was given into the hand of the wicked. All right. And the wicked is ruling. So the people is mourning, you know, and more so than ever, they're being brought, you know, the evidence and their iniquity is being brought to the forefront in front of all the nations, man, in front of the whole congregation, so to speak. This is the book of Nahum, and I end off with this. Chapter 3 and verse 5. Behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nakedness, the nations thy nakedness, Salakia, and the kingdoms thy shame. And I will cast abominable filth upon thee and make thee vile, and will set thee as a gazing stock, right? You know, from the Clintons to the Melinda Gates the Melinda and the Bill Gates Foundation, all right, to the lesser Edomite around the corner that put forth his wickedness and hate the apple of the Lord's eye, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and Seminole Indians that better promise. But Shalom, Mahabatha, and DTA until the next one.